Welcome students to your next class of accounts, and today we will be completing our topic depreciation. So we will be discussing the two methods, leftover methods of depreciation of our syllabus. I am Janvi Agarwal, Assistant Professor, School of Management, BBD University. So the learning objective of this lecture is we will be discussing the or we will be learning the diminishing balance method, distinction between fixed installment method and diminishing balance method, and also the sinking fund method. So moving forward, we'll start with our diminishing balance method. Under this method, as the value of asset goes on decreasing year after year, the amount of depreciation charged every year also goes on decreasing. So, in this method or in diminishing balance method, the value of the asset goes on decreasing year after year, and thus the amount of depreciation also starts decreasing year after year. The depreciation charged every year also goes on declining. For example, if a machinery is purchased for rupees 10,000 and depreciation is charged at 10% per annum, so according to this method, the depreciation will be charged as in first year, the depreciation charge will be 10,000, 10% of 10,000, that is 1,000. Next year, we'll deduct the 1,000 from original cost, that is 10,000 minus 1,000. So the value of the asset for second year will be 9,000. Now in second year, we will be charging the amount of depreciation not on 10,000 but on 9,000. So amount of depreciation will be charged on 9,000, that is 10% of 9,000. That will be 900. Again on third year, the amount will be charged on the amount will be charged on 8,100. How this 8,100 came? 9,000 minus 900 will be 8,100. So amount for the cost of machinery for third year will be 8,100. 10% of 8,100 will be 810, and on fourth year the amount of original the cost of asset will be 8,100 minus 810, that will be rupees 7,290, and 10% of 7,290 will be 729, and so on. So in this method we will charge the amount of depreciation on the amount of on the cost of the asset of that particular year, the cost of the asset that it holds for that particular year, not like straight line method. The amount of depreciation doesn't remain same in case of diminishing balance method. It will be observed from the above calculation that the each year's depreciation is calculated on the book value of the asset at the beginning of that year rather than the original cost. So we can see that after this example we can analyze that the depreciation is being calculated on the book value of that particular asset and not on the original cost of that asset. As the value of the asset and also the depreciation charged on it goes reducing year after year, this method is also known as reducing installment method and written down value method. So we can also see that the value of the asset and the depreciation, amount of depreciation goes on decreasing year after year. So this method is also known as the reducing installment method and written down value method. Merits of diminishing balance method. So easy calculation, it is easy to calculate the depreciation under this method. Even if some new assets are purchased year after year, different assets are grouped together for the purpose of providing depreciation. So this is one of the merit of this method, that is it is easy to calculate the depreciation under this method. Why? Because if we also purchase some other assets, some new assets year after year, then different assets are grouped under different categories for depreciating them same for charging the depreciation of same nature. We will group the assets into different categories, so it is very easy to calculate the depreciation in case of this method. equal charge against income. In this case, the total burden on P&L in respect to depreciation and repairs put together remains almost equal year after year. This is so because in initial year depreciation is more in comparison to the repair charges, whereas in later years, as the asset gets older, the amount of depreciation goes on decreasing while the expenses on repairs goes on increasing, thus keeping the combined charge of depreciation repairs almost uniform. So there is always an equal charge against the income. Why? Because under this method, the burden on P&L account in respect to the depreciation and the repairs charges are put together, and they remain equal year after year. This is because the initial year depreciation is more and repair charges are less, and in later years the asset gets older and the amount of depreciation goes on decreasing while the repair charges goes on increasing. So this combined charges makes the depreciation and repairs charges almost uniform. Next is no undue pressure in later years. So the efficiency and the usefulness of a machine is more in the earlier years than in the later years. There is no pressure in later years in providing the depreciation to the particular assets, and the efficiency and the usefulness of a machinery is always more than the earlier years than in later years. Hence, the amount of depreciation in first few years should be more in comparison to the later years. So, the amount of depreciation must be more in uh, previous years or in first few years rather than later years. This is ensured by adopting the diminishing balance method. Balance of assets is never written off to zero. So in this method, the asset balance of the asset is never brought down to zero. This method ensures that the asset is never reduced to zero, so that some depreciation, however small, is debited to profit and loss account so long as the asset remains in use. Okay, now approved method by income tax authorities. This method of providing depreciation is permissible under income tax regulations. So, sorry, this method is also permissible under the income tax regulation. So, it gets repeats under the income tax regulation and income tax authorities. It is approved by the income tax authorities. Suitability, this method is very suitable in case of assets having comparatively long life and which requires considerable repairs in the later years when they become older, such as building, plant and etc. So this method is suitable in case where the assets have the long life. They have a very long life, and also which requires repairs, considerable repairs in later years rather than initial years, and becomes older, such as buildings and plants and etc. So the merits of this method are, the merits of diminishing balance method is assets cannot be completely written off. So under this method, the value of the asset, even if it becomes obsolete and useless, it cannot be reduced to zero. And some balance, however small, would continue the asset account. So in this, this is the disadvantage of this method, that the value of the asset cannot be brought down to zero even if the asset becomes obsolete and it is not being put to use. Omission of interest factor. As with the original cost method, this method also does not take into consideration the loss of interest on the amount invested in the asset. So, in this method, the it does not takes into consideration the loss of interest. Whatever investment has been made, this method also doesn't take the interest into consideration like straight line method. Difficulty in determining the rate of depreciation. Under this method, the rate of providing depreciation cannot be easily decided. The rate is generally kept higher because it takes very long time to write an asset down to its scrap value. If the rate of depreciation is kept lower, the asset may become obsolete earlier. So, in this method, the depreciation cannot be easily determined. Why? Because the rate under this method, the rate of depreciation is generally kept higher. Why? Because it takes a very long time to write the asset to its bring down its to its scrap value. If the rate of depreciation is kept lower, the asset may also become obsolete earlier. Knowledge of original cost and up-to-date depreciation is not possible. So under this method, the original cost of various assets is not shown in the balance sheet. Under this method, the original cost of the asset is not shown in the balance sheet. Sometimes the asset is grouped in such a way that it becomes difficult to know that there is a specific identity of that particular asset. The residue balance of the assets may continue in the balance sheet even after they have been actually scrapped. Now we will see the numericals of this particular method. Alpine Traders purchased a machinery on April 1st, 2009 at a cost of rupees 8,000 and spent rupees 2,000 on its installation. The firm writes of depreciation at the rate 10% per annum by written down value method. The scrap value of the plant at the end of its economic life of 4 years is expected to be rupees 6561. Show the machine account for 4 years in the books of Alpine Traders. The books are closed on 31st March 31st March every year. So in this method, what we'll do, in this method also we'll draw a machinery account, date particular amount, debit and credit. We'll start with the year for when we have purchased the machinery. So we are purchasing machinery on April 1st, 2009. The initial cost was 8,000 plus 2,000 for installation. So total cost will be rupees 10,000. So to bank account rupees 8,000 and to bank account rupees 2,000. We can also show to bank account rupees 10,000. So this is up to our choice. 2009 April 1st we are spending on purchasing of the asset, that is to bank account rupees 8,000, and the other entry will be done on April 1st, that is installation charges to bank account expenses, or you can write in bracket installation charges, that is 2,000, and the total amount will be 10,000. Now we will again depreciate the asset after 12 months, that is if we have started the account from 2009, then we will take it to 2010. We have started from April 1, then we will take it to March 31st. So we will charge the depreciation on March 31st by depreciation account. By depreciation account. Now we will charge the depreciation on 10,000, not on 8,000. We will charge the depreciation on total amount of that asset. So the total amount of the asset is rupees 10,000. We will charge the depreciation on 10,000. The depreciation rate given is 10% per annum. So we will charge the depreciation on 10,000, 10% of 10,000, that is 1,000. 10,000 minus 1,000 is 9,000. The balance on March 31st, 2010 will be 9,000. Now this 9,000 will be brought down to April 1st, 2010. To balance brought down 9,000. Now we will charge the amount of depreciation on this 9,000. 10% of 9,000. So depreciation will be charged after 1 year or 12 months, that is March 31st, 2011. So 2011 March 31st by depreciation account 10% of 9,000, that is 900. Now 9,000 minus 900 will be 8,100. This will be the amount, balance amount that is on March 31st, 2011. Now this amount 8,100 amount will be brought down to 2011 April 1st to balance brought down 8,100. Now after 1 year or 12 months 2012, on 2012 March 31st, depreciation will be charged on 8,100. 10% depreciation will be charged on 8,100, that is 810. 8,100 minus 810 will be 7,290. This will be the balance carried down for that particular year. Now 7,290 will be again brought down to April 1st of the same year, that is 2012. to balance brought down 7290 April 1st 2012. Now after 1 year you will be charging the depreciation to this particular asset, that is 2013 March 31st. Depreciation account 7 to 10% of 7290, that is 729. 7290 minus 729 will be 6561. This is the final amount that the asset has after deducting the depreciation for 4 years. So we have charged here 4 depreciation, 1 depreciation, 2 depreciation, 3 depreciation and 4 depreciation. Now deducting 7290 and 729, deducting 729 from 7290 will give 6561. This will be balance brought down for the April 1st of same year, that is 2013 April 1st. Balance brought down will be 6561. This is a method of written down value method. This is the question of written down value method. Now we'll again see one question. Rohini Cement Limited purchased on April 1st 2003 a plant for rupees 80,000. On 1st July 2004 it purchased additional plant costing. So now this question is very interesting. Why? In this question we will be purchasing 2 machinery and also selling 1. So on 1st July 2004 it is purchased additional plant costing rupees 48,000. On 1st December 2005 the plant purchase on 1st April 2003 was sold off and for rupees 42,000, and on the same date fresh plant was purchased at the cost of 75,000. Depreciation is provided at 10% per annum on diminishing balance method every year. Accounts are closed on each year on 31st March. So now we will prepare a machinery account or plant account, debit, credit, date particular amount, date particular amount. We will starting from purchasing a machinery. So we are purchasing first machinery on 1st April 2003. So we will write here 2003 April 1st to bank account. How much? 80,000. We are purchasing a plant for rupees 80,000. So we will write here 80,000. Now we will charge depreciation after 12 months. So we will charge the depreciation. We have to charge depreciation on 10% per annum. So after 1 year, that is March 31st 2004. 1 year, after 1 year will be 2004 March 31st. So after 1 year, that is March 31st 2004, the depreciation charge will be 10% of 80,000, that is 8,000. 80,000 minus 8,000, the balance will be 72,000. This balance will be brought down to the same year but April 1st. So on April 1st 2004, the balance brought down will be 72,000. But now here we will have to keep in mind that we are also purchasing another machinery on this year. That is, we are purchasing a machinery on July 1st 2004. So we will purchase a machinery on July 1st 2004. To bank account, the amount of machinery will be 48,000. Now we will have to charge depreciation 2 times on 2 machinery in case of this year. That is, we will charge depreciation on 2 machinery in year 2005. That is after 1 year. On April 1st, we have brought down the amount of the first machinery, and we have also purchased the machinery, second machinery on 2004. So after 1 year, that is March 31st, 2004, we will charge the amount on both the machinery. So we'll have to keep in mind the months, for how much months we are calculating the depreciation. In case of first machinery, we'll charge the amount of depreciation on 72,000, that is 10% of 72,000 will be 7,200. But in case of this second machinery, we are purchasing the machinery on July 1st. So we'll have to calculate the months. We'll have to calculate from July 1st 2004 to March 31st 2005. The months will be 9 months. So we will calculate these months, and according to these months we will charge the depreciation. So depreciation charge will be 48,000. 10% of 48,000 into 9 divided by 12. The amount will be 3,600. We will total this and write this here. And after this we will deduct the amount from the depreciation amount from the cost of the asset, that is 72,000 minus 7,200. This will give us 64,800, and 48,000 We'll deduct 3600 from 48,000. This will be 44400. We'll also total this and write this here. And we'll total this amount and write this here and also this. Okay, now we'll brought down this balance to the next year, that is on 2005 April 1st. By balance brought down 64,800 and 44,400. This here you can write machinery 1, machinery 2. Machinery 1 amount balance brought down is 64,800. Machinery 2 balance brought down is 44,400. And after 1 year we'll charge the. Okay, now in this year we are selling the machinery 1. We are selling machinery 1 on 1st December 2005. The purchase machinery on 1st April 2003 was sold for 42,000. And same date fresh plant was also purchased for 75,000. So in this case now we will sell off the first machinery and we'll again purchase this third machinery. So machinery first will be sold off, that is we'll sell the machinery and right on 31st on December 1st we'll sell the machinery. December 1st 2005 we'll sell the machinery by bank account. How much amount? 42,000. We have sold the machinery. Now we'll charge the depreciation for this machinery. We'll charge the depreciation for this machinery from April 1st to December 1st. So these months will be 8 months. So we'll charge 10% of 64,800 for 8 months. We'll get 4,320. Now last, we'll transfer the amount we'll transfer the loss that we have incurred in this particular plant to P&L account, statement of P&L account. So loss on sale of the plant will be 64,800 minus 42,000 minus 44,320. We'll get 18,480. We'll transfer this amount to P&L account. Now we'll again purchase another machinery on December 1st 2005, that is to bank account we have purchased the machinery of 75,000. Now we will have to charge depreciation on two machinery, that is machinery 2 of 44,400 and machinery 3 of 75,000. We will charge 10% depreciation on both the machinery. So when we'll charge 40 on machinery 2, we'll get this amount. 10% of 44,400 will be 4,440. And on in this case, in case when we are purchasing third machinery, we are purchasing on 1st December. So we'll charge the depreciation from 1st December to 31st March only. So these will be 4 months. So in this case, we'll charge the depreciation for 4 months. So 75,000 into 10% into 4 by 12. This will be 2,500. We'll total this. We'll deduct the amount of depreciation from the cost of the asset, that is 44,400 minus 4,440 and 75,000 minus 2,500. We'll get the amount this. 39,960 and 72,500. We'll total this amount. We'll total this and again brought down this amount to next year, that is 2006. So this was the question. In case we have given more than one machinery and we are selling and purchasing the same machinery. Now distinction between the fixed installment method and diminishing balance method. This is a very important question, theory question that can come to your exams. So we will discuss it once. Basis of difference, fixed installment method and diminishing balance method. So if we differentiate these two methods on the basis of amount of depreciation, so there is always a equal depreciation charged every year in fixed installment method, and in case of diminishing balance method, depreciation goes on decreasing year after year. Basis of calculation of depreciation. Depreciation is charged on the original cost of the asset in fixed installment method, and in case of diminishing balance method, the depreciation charged on the reducing balance of the asset. Basis of difference is zero level. In case of fixed installment method, the book value of the asset can be reduced to 0, but in diminishing balance method, the book value can never be reduced to 0. Combined effect of depreciation and repairs on P&L account. So in case of Fixed installment method, the combined burden on account of depreciation and repairs will be lighter in earlier years and heavier in later years. But in case of written down value method, the combined burden on account of depreciation and repairs will be almost equal for different years. The rate of depreciation is kept lower in comparison to diminishing balance method in case of straight line method, but in case of diminishing balance method, the amount of rate of depreciation is kept higher in case of written down value method in comparison to straight line method. Approval of income tax authorities. This method is not approved by income tax authorities. Which method is SLM, and this method is approved by income tax authorities. That is written down value method. Suitability. It is suitable for assets in which repair charges are less and possibility of obsolescence is less, such as land, building, patents, and trademarks, etc. But this method, WDV method, is suitable only for the assets which require more repair expenses with passage of time, where where possibility of obsolescence is more due to technological changes such as plant, machinery, vehicle. So these were the differences between both the methods. Now last method of our depreciation is sinking fund method. Under this method, the amount of depreciation goes on accumulating till the asset is completely worn out. So, in this method, in sinking fund method, the amount of depreciation gets accumulated till the assets is completely obsolete or it is completely worn out. This method provides necessary cash to replace the asset at the end of its useful life. So, in case of sinking fund method, this method provides the replacement of the end of the asset with necessary cash. Okay, the amount of depreciation is fixed and it remains same for the every year, and it is charged to P&L account. The amount of depreciation is invested outside the business every year. So amount of depreciation is invested. The amount that is being depreciated in particular year, it is invested outside the business every year. This process of investing the particular amount of depreciation in some other some other mode of investment, and it gives the interest, this goes on till the time the replacement of the asset. This process of investing the particular amount of depreciation and gaining the and bringing the interest to the company goes on till the asset is being replaced by the company. At the time of replacement, all the investments are sold out and the cash is received and the new assets are purchased. So at the time of replacement, all the investments are sold and the interest and the cash is received from that investments, and from that cash the new asset is being purchased. So the journal entries for this method is, at the end of first year we'll have to write two entries for setting aside the amount of depreciation account debit to sinking fund account, for transferring the depreciation to P&L account debit to depreciation account, and third entry will be for investment account, for investment of a particular account, sinking fund investment account debit to bank account. B, for subsequent years, for receiving the interest, bank account debit to sinking fund account. For setting aside the amount of depreciation account debit to sinking fund account. For transferring depreciation account to P&L account, the entry will be done as P&L account debit to depreciation account. And lastly, for investing the amount of depreciation plus interest received, the entry will be sinking fund investment account debit to bank account. And the last year, the entries will be same. First, second and third entries will be same as in B. Means for receiving interest, for amount of depreciation, for transferring the depreciation account to P&L account, the entries will remain same as in case of B for C. But the amount invested will be changed. So, but in this case, the amount is not being invested, but actually the asset is being sold. So on sale of the investment, the bank account debit, sinking fund account debit to sinking fund investment account to sinking fund. In case of loss, you will write the entry as bank account debit, sinking fund account debit to sinking fund investment account. In case of profit, you will write the entry as bank account debit to sinking fund investment account to sinking fund. And finally on the sale of the asset, you will write entry as bank account debit to asset account. Lastly, sinking fund account balance is transferred to asset account, and any balance left in the asset account is transferred to P&L account. These were the entries of this particular method. Now we'll see the question. X Limited bought a machinery for rupees 2 lakh on 1st January 2020. The useful life was estimated at 3 years with a scrap value of 20,000. The company uses sinking fund method. Investment to carry 5% interest. The sinking fund table shows 0.31720. Please correct this. This will be as 317209. I am correcting this. So, the sinking fund table shows that 0.317209 at 5% will in 3 years accumulate to rupees 1 prepare machinery account, sinking fund account and sinking fund investment account. So, but in this case, in case of sinking fund method, the numericals are not same as we have done in straight line method and written down value method. In this case, we'll have to make 3 accounts in one numerical. We'll have to make a machinery account, we'll have to make a sinking fund account, and we'll also have to make the sinking fund investment account. So let's see the solution for this. So in this case, firstly we will make the sinking fund account. Here we'll have 6 columns: first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, like date particular amount, date particular amount. So we'll starting the question, but firstly we will start the question. How we'll start the question? We'll have to calculate the amount of depreciation. How we'll calculate that? I have written this here. Total cost of the machinery was 2 lakh. Scrap value of the machinery was 20,000. You can see in the question. So the actual cost of machinery will be 2 lakh minus 20,000, that is 1 lakh 80,000. In question it is mentioned that the sinking fund table shows the So in this case, what we'll in question it is mentioned that the sinking fund table shows that 0.317209 at 5% will accumulate to rupees 1. So what we'll do, we'll multiply this amount value of sinking fund table, that is at 5%, and in 3 years the amount of sinking fund will be 0.317209. We'll multiply this to the actual cost of the asset, that is 1,80,000. So we'll get this amount, that is 57,098. So depreciation charged will be 57,098. So what we'll do while making the sinking fund account, we will start from December 31st. Obviously we are starting from 1st January 2020. No. 2000. By mistake I have written here 2020. It is not 2020, it is 2000. 2000. Okay. So what we'll do now, on December 31st 2000, we'll charge the depreciation on the machinery by depreciation account 57098, and we'll transfer this balance to on the same date, that is December 31st 2000, to balance carried down same amount 57098. Now again we will what we'll do, we'll brought down this balance to the next year, that is January 1 2001. By balance brought down 57098. Again we'll charge the depreciation on same year. So now what we'll do, we'll brought down this amount of rupees 57098 to next year, that is January 1, 2001, by balance brought down 57098. Again, we'll charge the depreciation on this asset, that is on December 31st, 2001, by depreciation account 57098. Now what we'll do, but in this case, we'll again charge the interest on this particular asset. So we have mentioned this in question that uh, the company uses sinking fund investment method, investment to carry 5% interest. So what we'll do, the cost of the asset, the balance of the asset of that particular year will have 5% interest in that. So we will charge 5% interest on 57098. So we will charge 5% interest on 57098, that is 2854. So by interest 2854 on same date, that is December 31st, 2001. Now the balance brought down on the same year, same date, December 31st, 2001, the balance carried down will be total of this, that is 1,17,050. 1,17,050. Now again we will brought down this balance to, by balance brought down 1,17,050. December 31st, 2002, we'll charge the depreciation 57098. Now we will again charge the interest on this amount 1,17,050, that is the cost of the asset. We will charge 5% interest on this amount 1,17,050, 5% interest. The answer will be 5852. We will charge the interest, we will calculate total this, the amount will be the total of the asset. We will transfer this to machinery account on the same date, that is December 31st, 2002. To machinery account 1,80,000. Now the next step is to make the sinking fund investment account. In this case, again we will make the 6 columns, that particular amount, that particular amount. We will start from to bank account 57098 on January 1st, 2000. What we will have to do? We will have to transfer the amount of depreciation that we have charged till date. So on January 1st, 2000, we will transfer the amount, depreciation amount to bank account 57098. On December 31st, this will be the balance. Again on January 1st, 2001, we have charged the depreciation. We will transfer this to sorry, this one will be the balance brought down on January 1st, 2001. This was the end of that year 2000. December 31st, we will brought down the balance to January 1st, 2001. That is 57098. We will again transfer the amount of depreciation, that is 117050. And this will again be the difference of this and this will be again transferred to bank account, that is 5995. Now last step is to make the machinery account, and in this case we'll make the machinery account January 1st, 2002, balance brought down, that is 2 lakh. On 31st December 2002, sinking fund account will show 1,80,000. The difference between 2 lakh and 180 will be the cash shown in the account, that is 20,000. So this was the question of this method. The most important methods of depreciations are the the straight line method and written down value method. Sinking fund is not that much important and doesn't, but you have to study, and for that these questions will make up. Till now we will be starting with our next topic in next lecture. Till then, thank you and take care.